morning.
Good morning.
Sunlight shines upon your sleeping face. Oh no. Yeah, let me stop, right? A new day seeks
It's a new
reality
day.
and we must go. Doom,
Doom, doom,
doom.
doom, doom. Hello,
Yes.
everybody. We are getting ready. We got a little bit of a slow start. Some
Sluggish.
reason.
We're off
So,
with our coffee, everybody. That's what happens. I just got mines and ooh man, it's hectic without that coffee and cinnamon sometimes, man.
yes, it is. And for some reason, my lighting is just not working for me today.
It gives you
But
certain ominous, a certain ambiance, Nadine. You
yeah,
know what
there
I
you
mean?
go.
We see that blue from the window coming in
Yeah,
on the right side of your face, man. You know what I
yeah, I
mean?
could be brighter, so I apologize. But good morning, everyone. My name is Nadine. I'm joined here
Yeah.
with Don Stephens and our guest
Hello.
today, Sue Ann. Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome. It is the first Sunday in February, and you're tuned in to Let's Paint and Draw
Draw
Along.
along.
Let's Paint and
Yeah.
Draw Along, and it's all about painting and drawing along. And the session today is titled Hanging with Panda Part 2.
Okay.
So you will see Panda Bear hanging from a tree or hanging out in a tree. If you look over in the corner there, you will see that. But also, if you are a Facebook member, it's pinned in the featured section, and you can use that to follow along. Yes, follow along. Are you coming in different couple of different ways, Miss Sue Ann?
I'm trying to get on my computer, but
Oh, okay.
my
That's
computer's not working. So I'm going to turn off the sound here. So not
okay.
to.
Well, hopefully that works. So while we're working out the little particulars, one of the
Yeah.
beautiful things about being a Facebook member is you can join in like Sue Ann is joining in with us. And, it can seem a little daunting. You can sign in with your phone or your laptop. Now we're trying to bring her in with her laptop. I don't know. We're going to see what's going on. But other than that, we have Don. He's here. He grabbed his
Yeah.
coffee. Thank you. How you doing today, Don?
Hey, internally optimistic as always, everybody.
That's
You
a
know the
beautiful
deal.
thing.
You know it. You know it. Always ready to create. That's my mantra, everybody. So some
Yeah.
of you may not think about it every day. Just know the guy that suggested it to you, it's an
Mm-hmm.
everyday occurrence. That's why it says it on the t-shirts when you get one. It says 24/7 above, 365 below that.
And
And
then I
hashtags keep creating in the middle.
and then I have when my
Yeah,
eyes are open,
it's
it's
on.
on.
Yep, and that's for everybody. Think about it, everybody. When you wake up in the morning, when you come back, you see the ceiling or you look at your pillow and you raise your head up, you go, I'm here. And then now it's on. Yeah,
Ah,
it's on now. You can't stop it. You can't turn it off. You got to do something now. So all I'm saying is keep creating. When
yes,
your eyes open, it's on. You know what I
yes.
mean?
Now I have sad news to tell
Uh-oh.
you. The
Uh-oh.
sad news I have to tell you is I broke my backup pair of readers. And
Oh,
and right before my trip. So like
wow. Boom,
I
boom,
had a
boom,
really
boom.
nice pair of readers that I ordered from Warby Parker. That
Okay.
broke. And then
Wow.
so I went to Staples and got a pair of readers that are like bifocals.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh,
Okay. And got
yeah.
those. And I went to Staples last night. They were all out. They didn't have any of those.
Wow.
So now I got my old crappy backup one that I use when I'm painting.
It's
It's got
all good.
chips up on the top and everything,
Hey, that's
but
bedazzling. That's bedazzling right there.
it's going to work right now.
Now, all
And
right.
but these also were special ordered. And when you're outside, they
Uh-huh.
change colors.
Yeah, my mom had a pair of those. A couple of
And
my aunties and my dad had a pair of those too as well.
you would think these weren't discount glasses, and the paint is chipping on it. I'm about ready to
Yeah,
paint it myself.
well, mine as well, man. Just tape it off or unscrew it. You know what I mean? Get you some micro screws and things like that. Computer screws
Yeah,
or
I got
screwdrivers, and then boom, take it apart and then spray it and then put the glass back in there when it dries. You never know.
right
I would
because
say you
these,
can use Rust-Oleum. You can use
yeah,
acrylic paint, but the Rust-Oleum will work real good because it'll give you a nice spray and it's the coat is already in the paint. So
right.
I would say pick your color, take the lenses off the rims, as they say, and then get the paint, man, whatever color you want at
Now,
that point.
now this is also a way to create art. Creating art with your own glasses.
Well,
Like, can you
yeah,
imagine the different things you could do
yeah, that's
with
the crafts
just
part of it. That's
that's
the
the
crafts
crafts
part
part
of
of it.
art. Yeah,
And
honestly.
Don just dropped the knowledge with that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, we like having fun, you know what I mean? Those was things like, say Nadine, when I
Yeah.
was living in New York, when I was a younger guy, I would
Mhm.
do that for somebody. They would say they
Oh,
didn't like
okay.
the way their glasses look, so I
Right.
would be able to make $10. What would I do? Just tape off the glasses then because I didn't understand how to unscrew them and take them apart.
Yeah, because you
So I
can
would
mask it. You
Right. So
can
that's
mask
all
it.
I did. I mastered when I was younger. When I got a little older, got into high school, had an airbrush, then I understood a little bit more. Then that's when I got to the unscrewing and just, taking things apart to be able to repaint it. So for
Mm-hmm.
those of you out there that's on the over 50 crowd and you want a little bit of change, I'm telling you, that's something that you can service to as well.
Right.
Start with yourself, like how Nadine might do, pick a design or a color and then go for it. And then, walk around with them, be your own advertising. And then when somebody make mention to the
Yeah.
glasses, you'd
You'd
be
be
like,
like,
well, do you have a favorite pair of glasses that, possibly the
yep,
paint was cracking? They
yep,
say, yeah, you got a customer.
yep. It's upcycling.
That's it. You know what I mean? Whatever. And it's good for at least a good 50 to maybe $100 a month, depending upon the people around you, the building you may live in,
Mm-hmm.
your job situation, who knows, man. I know a
Mm-hmm.
guy that started because he likes wood. He used to whittle the glasses like that. So he
Okay.
would make them out of wood. And then he
Okay.
would just take the measurement of your glasses that you got on right now, and he would make the rims to those lenses.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
another
cool.
way. Yeah, it was
Because
cool as being. I saw some of his work
yeah.
and he was, feeling some type of way. This is an elder, over 55 crowd. And I was like, why do you feel? He said, oh, nobody's gonna want nothing like that. I said, are you crazy?
Easy. Yeah.
I said, sir, you don't understand. I said, give me some. I said, give me some. This is around about early 2000s. I said, give me a few. I took them out and he saw the money I got from him. He said, well, Don, can I? I said, should I give it to you? From your era, it states that you just gave them up. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
see, you're in a different era. I have to give you some of the money because we can go to court and you may win. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you do have to
So
think about that.
right, but I just wanted to make him laugh, but to prove a point to him, you don't know what people may want. You have
Mm-hmm.
to look at what the human being needs possibly in some of
Yeah.
these situations,
You're
especially in the
feeling a
crafts.
need.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like for instance, I can show this one again, Nadine. This is a
Yeah.
portrait that I'm doing, everybody.
Yeah. Isn't
So
that something?
yeah, a lot of times people don't get me to do portraits just for the likeness. They want me
Mm-hmm.
to re-invoke or invoke rather the spirits of lost ones a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of my pieces seem so, dramatic and stuff like that, because I'm trying to pull something else other than likeness out of the portraiture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not easy sometimes, you guys, because you get terrible source material sometimes. And you don't want to embarrass the customer and say, oh, your sources are terrible. You just make mention like, wow, that's interesting. How'd you get that photograph? And then they laugh because they know it's terrible, but they send it anyway because that's all they got. And then sometimes you got to be like your own Photoshop. You got to bedazzle it and go, ding, ding, and then boom, you know what I mean? You get
Right.
it. But
Right.
nonetheless, everybody, it's just a thing of letting you know. You never know what's going on or what's the need is if you don't go out and observe and see where you place in it, meaning that what your hand can do. You see what I mean? So just like the young man that said he didn't think people that was going to like his wood glasses, and then all of a sudden, bam, I take them out and get a response. You don't know. It's 350 billion people out here. We're not just talking United States, we're talking the whole world. So if you just talk about Pennsylvania, where we're at, there's too many people there for you to say, oh, well, I don't know if people really like what I have. I don't know if the person next door is really going to want me to do a charcoal portrait for them. But you don't know if you don't inquire, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't ask, you don't know.
Right. And then the other one is if you looking to make profit, you know, you don't know you can make a profit until you sell yourself. And selling yourself is just making note and question, saying, hey, this is what I can do for you. I'm not worried about what your auntie and uncle looks like. I'm worried more so about the feeling that I can give you, sir. And if I can give you that feeling, this painting or drawing will live for a lifetime based upon me touching your inner chords. So in other words, as an artist, you have the opportunity to do it that way. Or you can do it in the crafts way for the glasses and things like how we was talking, Nadine. There is no set way of how you can do this. You can do it for recreation. You can do it for your behavioral, like how, I make most of my day. Or you can do it just for the personal, or you can do it for the commerce. However which way you want to do it, we're just saying here, just do it. Once your eyes open, it's on. Now it's time to keep creating 24/7, 365. Come on, y'all, keep it alive.
Keep it going, keep it going.
So now we put our panda up here now. Yeah. Look at that, everybody. So now you can see, I thought about those leaves and everything else. If you look on the right side of my piece there. Yeah, so, that's what I was going to talk about today, and the coloring in, and then I was going to fill in my leaves all in this area here and up here, and then get to the watercolor aspect so we can have a nice full day of suggestions, everybody. Like I said, some of you probably are finished already. Some of you are probably not this far because you didn't use the straight marker. You probably drew with pencil first to build your confidence. That's okay. As long as you get to these points of, how would you say, moments in between when you're about to transition to do other things. We're here just as a suggestion for you to keep going. And you don't have to be finished at the same time. Somebody hit me up and says, well, Don, do we have to be finished at the same time that you and Nadine are finished? I said, no, Nadine sometimes is not finished at the same time I'm finished. Sometimes I'm not finished when Nadine's finished. You know what I mean? So it depends upon you. We want you just to keep creating. The suggestion is take the idea as far as you can take it. Take it so far as to do another one if you wanted to, you know what I mean? Because you have the photograph now. So yeah, so get your markers, everybody. I have my markers on the table over here. My photograph is out, so I have mine on the laptop over here like we did. I'll show you the setup again, everybody. If I pan it this way, there's the computer and the laptop there. You see, and here I is.
Hey. Time to make some art.
There it is, man. So now y'all see it, and then I'll have I'll pan down, probably in a couple of minutes, 20 minutes or so, to show the glass palette again so y'all can see what we're doing when it comes to the color idea. Hey, there it is, Nadine. All right. Looking good, looking good. Hey, you got that eye looking good too on the turn on the head. Way to go. I can see that through the screen. Well, no, the whole thing is if you can see the motion, and then your audience can see the motion, then you did your job. You just have to, not compare it to others, just compare it to the photograph then. Not overjudge yourself by the photograph, but say, hey, do I have that expression or feeling in of the panda bear feeling like he's in a tree, slumbering, or does he look like he's about to jump out and attack somebody? You know what I mean? That's the thing. Once again, I'm always going to suggest the idea of the expression and the feeling and the emotion. I'm not going to worry too much about exactitude because you have to worry about being exact a little bit, everybody, because if you're wanting it to be identifiable, objective at that point, and not a pure abstraction, then it
Right.
has to have identifiable points in it, else it's
True.
not objective at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Or subjective. It'd be truly subjective, your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, and your epiphanies about the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's what I try to give too when we're talking art. That's why we say, you know, I used to like reading Clement Greenberg, but he used to say it in his stuff, excuse us for talking art, you know what I mean?
And sometimes we talk art.
Yeah, but that's what makes it exciting though, because you get more than just a demonstration and a lot of, you know, how would you say, bloviating and egoism. You get, you know, true comments that you can go and research and say, oh, wow, okay. If I look at certain artists, I find out what the whole historicity of the idea is, you know what I mean? And then now I can move forward too. So once again, I come from the strand of let's be all expressionists and impressionists, basically, borderlining on the idea of subjectivity, you know what I mean, being abstract, existential, because we all dwell in that until something happens, so the, you know, experience it happens. All right.
Yeah.
So have my coffee, it's here. You was about to say something, Nadine? What's going on?
I'm trying to bring the abstract out of me too. 24/7.
365.
365 now that I'm retired.
Well, yeah, it was even before you was retired. Now you're gonna really see what I meant by that. Now that you're retired, because in your mind you can say, I don't have to, you know, swing over that way anymore. I'm pretty much, you know, at my own whims of creativity. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now
But
it's
then,
what am I gonna do with that?
right. All you're gonna do is basically apply the time frames, if you want it, of your last or previous experience and put that into your creative experience.
Yes.
If you can, possibly. Because that's what I did when I stopped gigging, as we call it, when you know what I mean, warehouseman and all this good stuff, art teacher, all that good stuff. On that level, you know what I mean? When I just had an epiphany one day, it hit me. And I was like, you know, I think I was at IKEA or something, you know, and what happened was, I just felt like the management wasn't appreciating my work ethic, you know what I mean? And then when I felt that, I said, something said, hey, why don't you apply it to yourself then? Apply you getting up every morning, rushing to the studio, or what you may call a studio at that time, you know, the same way you would get up and run and prepare yourself for a job, you know what I mean, a occupation. And when I started doing that, that's what made things, you know, a little bit clearer to me as far as the arts and the arts being an occupation for me and an opportunity. So once I started applying those ideas of the everyday of getting up and going to a warehouse job or getting up and doing a night job, you know what I mean? Taking the ideas of doing 2 jobs and a part-time, but applying that idea to my creative idea, my creative endeavors. And then what happens is you start to really understand yourself in those situations, because you start to see, well, dang, that's what it was all about. Just making sure I was getting to some place at a certain opportune time, you know what I mean? To do something that I signed on to make a living. Oh, okay. Let me do that for myself. I know I can do that because I want to paint.
Right.
All right, but then let me explain some of these movements, you know, see how I'm just using some of the shapes of the trees in there, or the leaves rather. And that's all you want to do. You want to accumulate them in the space. Being mindful of what your background or under and over is, you know what I mean? Because some of the leaves in the foreground is over and in front, and then some of them are underneath, looking like, you know, leaves that may be bunched up and behind a different color. And if you look at my screen, you'll see how I'm filling in with it. So your mark invention right now, everybody, should be high, you know. Just take some time, if you haven't already, everyone, and look around the photo. Zoom in on it as much as you can, and then just slide it with the little hand that you may have on your screen. Like y'all have the little hand there that you can grab the picture and pull it down and move it around. So zoom into your picture, everybody, and look at the foliage. Look at the leaf structures. Look at the variety of leaf structures. And then what you want to do is in those areas, take what you've seen and see if you can draw them. Now, as a suggestion, I would draw the ones that seem like they're more full and straight at me.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I did after that was underneath and in between those, then that's when I started filling in these little half marks and things like that, looking like leaves or overlap, like how my hands are in the screen now.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what I'm saying is, if we was doing my hands all over like leaves all over the screen, right? I'm saying to you, do my right hand that has the marker in it first, and then do how my hand is underneath as a line in between. See what I'm saying, Nadine?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you look at the leaves up there, because if you did it all in marker like me, you're going to have areas where it's going to be hard to put the leaf over because you already made your edges so hard.
Yeah.
You see? So with that being said, I just had to play up in the background more, those leaves looking like they're behind there so that this seems more like it's with the same plane as the bear.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because in this piece, everybody, you got to deal with this idea of foreground and background and midground. Because if you see down in this corner, these leaves here, they look like bamboo leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I know that because I used to grow them in my yard in South Jersey when I had when we had the house over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would grow bamboo in the backyard, and it's a good it's a good cover, shader, and things like that. Lovely animals love it. But the thing about it is real. How would you say? I'm gonna, since I don't know the terms that they use. You know,
Invasive.
there you go. I was about to say it was aggressive.
Aggressive ain't
Yeah.
the word. You gotta
Right.
put stuff around it to keep it
Yeah,
from taking over. People
there
be
you
mad at
go.
you.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that when I put my little bit in, you know what I mean? Because I found out where my backyard was. It was like it had a lot of wet deposits. So when you have a lot of wet deposits or sinkholes or wet, you know, deposits, you can put bamboo there, and then it's basically, you know, your land was basically a marshland, basically wetlands. Bamboo does very well in wetlands, from what I understand now from that whole experience. So, you know, it's something to see. So, but yeah, you know, you just want to look at those leaves and make up a mark, you know, see where things are, make up a mark. Now, you want to keep that in your mark register, as I say, meaning that these marks you're going to use again. This way of putting in marks to make us feel distance and space, you're going to do again. It's never that you're not going to do these movements again. And now these specific movements was just for the panda bear, you know, hanging with the panda bear. No. These marks that you're going to be making up, as a suggestion, everybody, is your experiences with surface. So you're looking at the surface of these items, and I'm looking down here, and now I'm going to put those bamboo type leaves down here. You see how I'm doing? And I'm just letting them overlap. You see, look, and I'm just using it. Now, I may try to use some of the rhythm. What I mean by the rhythm of the movements of the darks and lights of those leaves and what they're saying. So they're like bunches almost, little round bunches. So what I do is it's just boom, put those leaves in like that, and I'll make up a mark for them to look like those bunches. But that whole area over there has to be those thin, slender type of leaves. That's that bamboo type of leaf structure where it grows out the top of the plant and then dangles down. You know, if you ever want to have an experience, everybody, grow, and you have a yard space, you know, grow some, but you're definitely going to have to border it, you know, dig down and put a wood border around it so they don't really grow out. The roots and everything really do take off, everybody.
Yeah.
And it will take over your whole yard, you know what I mean? No problem. And your neighbor's yard, the people down the block,
they be coming for you.
Yeah, you be like, where all this been attack of the bamboo, you know? So I know because some of my neighbors was mad, like, yo, man, why didn't you say something about? I said, you act like you in your yard every day or something, man. Come on, you know?
Right.
So, but I had to get it under control. So, you know, what I did was, you know, you dig a little trench and then you put a piece of wood down to border it off so that it keeps the roots back away from moving in that direction. Doesn't stop it totally, but it impedes the root system from, crawling out that way. And then now all you have to do is just come in and thatch it out. So at the end of the road, I wound up taking it all out.
Really?
Yeah, because it got too much. It was beautiful though. I was able to make some nice canes from it. But you know what I mean? It was it's if I had land, put it to you that way, I'd have let it keep on going. And then I would have had more, stronger bamboo at that point. But, in the future, we'll look at that again. But that's just to, let you know, give you an idea, a story about, mark making, you guys. And you see how I'm feeling in the area down there, and it's starting to feel like that. I'm just going to leave that space in there like that. And then you don't see it, but in those dark areas, there's a couple of lines in there for the bamboo in there. It's a dark area. So what I would do is just put a couple of dash lines in there. If you zoom in on the area, you'll see some bamboo in there. The growing stalks. What's up, Sue-Ann? You about to say something? How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I was just saying I can't zoom in on anything because I'm on my phone. It's really small because my computer Zoom isn't working.
Can you do this look what I'm doing on the screen? Can you do the pinching movement on your screen like this? Whereas you touch it, you touch the glass and you move your fingers in and out from the corners. Like this would be the lower left-hand corner down here in the right corner. And when I pinch together like that, it either bring it down or it'll zoom in more. Can you do that on your phone with a touch screen? No, you can't do it. It won't let you do it. Now, what you would have to do is if it's in the Zoom meeting, what you would have to do is press your screen for your face, right? And then that's where you would be able to activate that movement possibly. Because I had that issue one time too. The phone wouldn't do it. And then what I found is that when the phone is in the meeting too as well, if I tap my screen, then it makes my screen bigger. Then that means that on my device, I'm in control of that picture now, rather than Nadine being in control of it. Because if you don't identify you on your device, then it's saying that Nadine is in control.
Yep.
I got it. I got it big now.
Okay, way to go.
I'm small and the picture's big.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Way to go.
Technology
Way to go.
throw you off.
Yeah.
I can't see.
It's okay. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Then what you would do is if you wanted to see my screen or Nadine's screen within Zoom, just press her screen or my screen. And then now that'll put you back to Nadine being in control of everything at that point. Outside of your, okay. And I give classes on how to use your computer too, everybody. That's what I do during the classes. And if you go to the brick and mortars, I'm doing that a lot. You know what I mean? Because it used to be you had to have a camera and everything else, but now you got these phones and these other devices like the tablets and iPads that have all these things in there that you just, it's a by experience thing to learn how to use the device now. And let's be honest, all of us, even me included, we're not going to sit down with the manual or the e-manual and really look at, specs of my phone. We don't do it. We don't do it. We pay and play. You know what I mean? So
we watch YouTube videos.
And that's it. Or we just pay and play, honestly. Think about the things you do with your own device. I know I did when I got this phone, the laptop. I just turned it on and got to playing. I didn't even look at a manual. People was like, hey, Don, you can split the screen. Oh, no, I ain't know that, man. You didn't read your manual? No, I didn't read the manual, man. At least I'm honest. I tell the truth. I don't read a manual. I pay for the device or whatever I'm doing and jump right into play. That's it. I'll figure it out on the go. Oh, I can do that? Bet. Let's do it some more. You know what I mean?
Well, they don't often give they don't often give manuals with iPhones because they want you to do that.
Yeah, but
They
no, they
want you to
give you
just
the e-manual. It comes
what?
inside the apps of your phone.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's how they do it now. They give you
Yes.
a box with just a device in there and the cord. You know what I mean? No plug-in, just the cord though. You got your USB cord, but you may not have a plug with the USB cord. No manual, just some pieces of paper, you know, warranties, things like this, and thanks for purchasing our device. And they give you 1 or 2 pieces of paper that goes over the general stuff: how to turn it on, how to turn your phone on, how to get to your radio and your music and all this good stuff. And then after that, boom, you're done.
Yeah, because they want you to pay some
Right.
money.
Right. So then now you got to go in and they'll tell you. Most of us don't see it too, and like they'll tell you, yeah, you have the e-manual that's in your Metro app that you have to go into, and it's a tutorial that'll show. Who does that? That's like you have a job.
Right.
I'm being honest. All right, on this day, you got to take the tutorial, or else we're going to deduct something. You know what I mean? I used to have jobs like that where, okay, on Tuesday this week, instead of you working, you're going to be updating all your certifications. So you're going to be doing the first aid teleconference. You're going to be doing every first aid, mental health, proper ways to respond. All this stuff you're going to be doing as, you know, so no, we don't. I know I don't. I can answer for me, Sue-Ann. I know I don't.
I can tell you, I don't miss that.
Yeah, I don't read any manuals that much. I just start jumping in. The only manuals that I have, the only manuals I have started to read more is the ones that comes with these apps now. You know what I mean? Because you're forced to do it. Because if you don't know certain things, now you're looking crazy. You know, so yeah. But you notice, everybody, I use the bamboo leaf movement. And once I made up my mind what that movement was going to be, you just go in and start replicating. And then you look at the area there and you just mimic those spaces. That's what I mean by the rhythms, everybody. You're looking for the rhythm of movements of darks and lights, you know, of the edges, of open spaces, or you can say, yeah, I would say open spaces and then closed spaces, meaning that you have an open space here, and then now that dark space to me would be a closed space. You see, because all of this is making this area dark. And then all these leaves are coming down, so then I would look at the rhythm on how those leaves are moving. Now that I decided to do that banana type of shape for the leaf structure of the bamboo, for me, now that I feel comfortable with that, you see, I can put some more of those leaves dancing in certain areas. And it fills in pretty cool. You know, you got to overlap them, take the idea of the finger thing that I talked about, you know, reinforce the edge of your tree here, and then put some more leaves down there. So it looks like those leaves are behind there. You can do a big elephant ear type of leaf, you know what I mean, underneath of that. All the tropical type of plants, because that's what that is. He's in a tropical type of environment, or an environment that's, you know, pretty much like a rainforest. And it pretty much has to be based upon what this animal enjoys eating, which is a lot of plant life. Pretty much like the gorilla too. The gorilla does the same thing. You know, everybody thinks the gorilla eats meat like the chimpanzee. No. Gorillas are all herbivores. They eat everything, you know, plant life. I couldn't believe it either when I researched this. I mean, this dude is that jacked, that big from eating leaves? My God, bananas, fruit, you know, bite right into a watermelon, no problem. And then you have character. You ever see the videos on YouTube? The character of gorillas when they eating, that they let you know something is sweet or is good to them. It's almost human-like. They go, yes. Like, did that gorilla just chuckle from having a sweet mango? You know, am I losing my mind? But no, they do. They have human characteristics. So that's what makes some of us believe that's our cousin. But yeah, I enjoy that. So then now you would doing some of the leaves that you see now. You're seeing the underneath of them, you see?
Mm-hmm.
And then all I do is come back and use that rhythm that I'm seeing, you see?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is mine's exact to what is in the picture? No, but it's giving you that idea of the environment that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm looking for, the expression of that idea of where this individual item, space, place, thing, human, you know, mankind, however you want to say it is. And if we can replicate that good, then you got it. Like, all right, I know I'm jumping now. I jump from there to here, but I just have a little bit left here. So now this is just the tree bark over here. I got to make you believe. And then I look at some of those marks, and now in that area where I said the tree is, I'm mimicking that crunchiness of the bark there. I'm making up a mark that does that. And then now I come back and then do that heavy darkness around there. And that starts to mimic it, you see? Then I look at the direction that it's going in, you see? And the whole time I'm still thinking about, okay, this is just the linear stage. You know, I'm thinking ahead to, okay, when I start coloring this in, how I'm going to be able to see that difference between this tree, and that background, and then this vine is in the front. Because I'm going to lose the vine a little bit when we start coloring in. You see? So yeah, now you're mimicking that movement. You can use scrumbly lines, you see? And then now I'm going to start making that hole that's on this little tree down here, right about there. So then in this way, and then now I'm going to put it like we're going inside with a couple of lines, leave a little bit open there. And now all the rougher lines are on the outside. This part looks like it starts going in. Now I use those curved lines too as well. Looking at what's, you know, because it's like, it's growths on this tree. If I zoom in, I'll be able to see a little bit more. But after a while, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go for it, you know, jump in there, you know. Sometimes I got to remember I'm just coaching over here. I got to get mine going too.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that made me aware of it online. They sent me an email and they said, nothing against you, Don, but we would like to see some of yours get to a better finish point too before you get off camera and then you start doing what you need to do, and then they see the picture afterwards. I said, well, I suggested to you guys, you know what I mean? Go ahead on and dance it up, make it look a certain way for yourself before you're ready to present it.
Yeah, and while you're looking, say hi in the chat section.
Thank you.
You know
what I mean? So
yeah, just kind of say like, Don, we want to see more.
Right.
Before you say goodbye.
Right.
Before you say goodbye.
You know? So look at some of the little dash marks that I'm doing to mimic some of the tree bark that you're seeing. Then I'm putting that ref movement around there. Am I saying mine is the absolute, ooh, do it my way? No, I'm not saying it. I'm saying, how are you looking at those edges of those areas? And how are you making up a mark that translates that idea, that makes us believe that roughness of the tree there? So that when people look, even before it's color, because like before I put color in here, I'm going to take a picture of it. Because then this way, like I was suggesting in all the other ones, everybody, you'll have a black and white version that you can take a copy of and go to Kinko's or go to any print shop and print it out on paper or even on canvas now, and then paint it again. Then you can paint it and you made your own coloring book, everybody, basically, with your own artwork. It's just that easy. So what I would suggest to everybody is before, if you haven't done it already, because some of you probably started filling in already, and that's okay. Just you want to take a picture of it before you put any color in it. Then when you take that picture, you know, you're gonna go to your programs and then you're gonna make it black and white so it'll be all a linear equation. Then after that, what happens is now you can print it out off your bubble jet if you want to, your laser printer if you want to, or you can take it to a professional printer as a JPEG or a PDF, you know what I mean? And then you can get it printed out. If you make it a vector image, if some of us understand what that is out there, then you can make it the size of your wall if you wanted to. Yeah. You can do like some mural companies do, especially the Mural Arts in Philadelphia. They'll use a plotting machine and Photoshop, and then they'll do an impression on Photoshop, and then what happens is they'll convert it, and then after the drawing, and then they'll convert it and make it Photoshop or do what you call a summary of the whole project. And then now you put all that in and it'll print it out on each 4 foot by 8 foot block. And then
yeah, I worked on one of their murals and they had that. They had all these 4 by 8 blocks, and they were all the mural
paper. Yep, that's the mural paper that I'd be talking about. And they plot them out by 4 foot by 8 foot plots. And then they work it all out in the studio space first. That helps with time being outside. And then at that point, when they get it to a certain point after, because they got a big old map now, you got to have a big map of where everything goes and how many blocks you have. Then they have 200-300 blocks sometimes, of 4 foot by 8 foot that they got to put up in a sequence so that you can see that the artwork the proper way.
And they're all numbered.
Yes, all of them are numbered. It's strictly numbered. It's not that they're just going out there freestyling everybody. So you have to give these artists their respect, because they're doing an indoor-outdoor idea now because of the technology. You see, so then now when you get out there, the piece is about halfway or 3/4 done. You adhere it to the wall just like you would do wallpaper with an indoor-outdoor or totally outdoor adhesive now. Then once that adhesive is up there, they give it a day to dry, and then they start bringing the piece to the finish on location.
We worked on mural on the side of the L1 Institute on wherever the L1 Institute is. There's a big sunflower.
Okay.
We worked on that.
And did it the same way how we was making mention now to their process?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you see, and you can do it too, everybody, for your household. If you wanted to do a mural in your living room or something, you can do the same thing. You don't have to have Photoshop, but you have to have the image plotted out, and you can take it to the printer. It'll cost you a little bit, but it's worth it if you want to do your own project. You know what I mean? And this newer idea to see how fast it can go. And then you still have the techniques of, the grid, you know what I mean? The golden section, to do a lot of those pieces, and your own, mural in your house. So my mom, at one point, she was progressive. She let me do the wall in my room.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah. And that was back, we talking about late 70s, early 80s. So that lets you know how progressive in thought my mom was about me doing art. Now, a lot of times I look at it like, I don't think she was really progressive. She was trying to handle the time period. Okay, I don't want them to sneak out to do graffiti.
Right.
So, and I don't want to smell these fumes all the time. You know what I mean? So we'll let him paint on one wall in his room, and then he has to make it white when we have to get out of here.
Right.
So that's all that happened, and I understood that earlier on. But I was so happy that she was able to do it. But I didn't brag or go out to other friends that didn't have that they would get beatings and stuff. I was lucky enough to have a mother that I had that wouldn't impede my process. She just wanted to keep a busy kid busy and keep her eye on him. So it worked out for me. So, and this is before now, when you hear people say, oh, I let my kid draw on at least one wall in his room. People say, what? What you talking about? I look and say, hey, great, man. You don't know what you're doing for that kid.
Right.
It frees your mind up. It makes you feel like, oh, I can do some things. I don't have to be all caught up in legalese all the time and thinking my mom's going to break my face, you know? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I didn't have to. Well, I couldn't sneak out anyway to do graffiti. So I was the funniest graffiti artist. I would be getting back home, and then right before my curfew and everything, I was the only graffiti artist in my area that had a curfew. So they would meet me in the front of the building, and then I would give them all my cans because I couldn't stay out because my mama was like, "You better be in here at 12." So that was my curfew, you know, at a certain point in high school. No, you can't really be too much of a graffiti artist if you got to be in by 12. You know, back then, because you were, you know, it's the bandit. You got to be out there during times when everybody is sleeping sometimes to get your imagery to come across, you know. So, you know, some of the adventures, you know, like some of you may not have had those adventures, but, you know, I'm sure you had something along the way where somebody said, hey, we're not doing that in here. You're doing this in here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, 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 you will not be doing that in this living room. You're going to be doing that over here or in the basement or in the garage, you know. And now, you know, I had a friend that shared time and his studio space was the garage with the dogs.
If I wrote on the wall, my mother would have, I can only want to think.
Yeah, you see, I got one of those one time, but my mom just saw that I was persistent. I was silly like that. I would just keep doing things. And then, you know, regardless of, you know what I mean, the repercussions, because I wanted to draw and I wanted to do like the guys outside that I saw and I was meeting. You know what I mean? And then she just, you know, I guess somebody got in her ear and just said, listen, just let them have one wall, see what happens. You know what I mean? And then my mom took the suggestion, I guess, you know, and then boom, here I am. You know what I mean? And it works. So for those of you guys that have grandkids or, you know, or your grandkids or nieces and nephews that have the same disposition that I'm talking about, try giving them a wall, you know what I mean? It could be in their room, maybe in the basement, if you have basement, maybe in the garage, you know what I mean? With a stipulation, you have to do something that represents the whole family. You see, these are things that I started. See, those were the things that I started throwing in when I was an art teacher, K through 12 for adjudicated youth. So, you know what I mean? What I would make suggestions with parents would be if they had that disposition, I said the same thing, except for now, you know, you can say certain things like, all right, do you have a basement? Do you have an attic space? Do you have a garage? You know, in the garage, that's more of a social space when you say everybody's going to do that. Mama might not want you to do that in the living room until she sees how, you know, good you are. You know what I mean? So my suggestion to a lot of people was give them a wall, one of those backsplash walls that leads to the door to the house. Let that individual have that wall. And the only stipulation they have is that they have to do something that represents the entire family, everybody in the house. You can do whatever you want, but it has to represent this house. So that puts added pressure, yes, but it puts a good pressure because now it's not just you now. Now you have to represent the whole household. What? And some of the, I wish I would have kept some of the photographs of some of those kids that had the opportunity to do that and their parent let them do that. But, you know, some of them now are illustrators now. One guy is a digital movie guy. He does colorization for movies. I got 3 of those type of guys because one does it for animation, another one does it for movies, you know, colorization and stuff like that. And so if you just have to see how the arts is very important, even with making these marks with the trees, everybody, you know, make that one rhythm, I'm gone with it. I can fill that area in real quick, you see. But you have to be confident in the mark that you choose to make. You see, and it's a plethora of them up there. It's a plethora of them in there, you see. So I have this area filled in the way I need to. The tree bark on this one is almost there because it has a lot of open areas to it. But I just want to put some striations to show how the surface is moving now in our 5-step suggestion. You see, because remember, I'm all about the suggestion. It's even on our logo. when you look at Let's Paint and Draw Along with Nadine and Don Stephens, and you'll look on the logo and you'll see it says line, shape, form, light, surface. Keep creating. Well, that's the 5 steps that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? When you're looking at anything, they'll tell you that these are the design elements. There's more design elements than that. There's like a good 30 of them. But if you look at line, shape, form, light, surface, all those other modalities are in these 5, basically. You see what I'm saying? And if you train yourself to look more like that when you're looking at lines, even on the photographs, you got to understand in the realm that we live in, we're looking at edges. So every edge, even the edge on the surface that moves, because that questions the idea of, is there even a line there? Think about it. The only reason why we're calling this edge what we're calling it, fuzzy, whatever the meaning is because of the movement of the bear. And then Nadine took the shot that put him in a still state. And then that's when we call these certain vertical or horizontal or angular lines, curvilinear lines, all of that. But then you have to question, is there really a thing called a line? Not really. You know, that's for everybody to ponder on today. Think about it. Because you're dealing with surface.
Surface, edge.
You see? Well, see, edge is not really real either.
What?
Because that surface is moving around. So the only reason why we're calling it an edge is because we can't see the other side.
Okay.
Think about it. When you shot the camera, you shot at a certain angle so that we can't see underneath the bear. That's why we see this darkness here and we see his arm and his head here. We call that an edge. Now we call that a curved edge. But really, that fur is curving underneath to show the girth of his head. So is it really a line?
Okay, I see what you say.
See what I'm saying? Surface is forever moving until we stop it or until we stop our motion. Think about it. Why do you see a horizon line? Because you can't see past that point. That's your limitation as a human being. An eagle might be able to see past that point. A hawk, think about it, a hawk, an eagle, these are the 2 birds that can look from like 2-3 miles up and look at a lake and see a fish that they want to get. I don't know about you, but I've been in a plane at certain heights. And when you look down, everything is moving. I can't see no fish not unless it's like a porpoise, you know?
Right.
A whale, it has to be big. It can't be like how I get from the market, this big.
Right.
Think about it. The eagle is catching a fish that might be about that big.
I know, and can dive down. You're right.
Think about it. And then the fish is not right at the surface a lot of times. We're talking about it may be 4 or 5 feet below the surface. How the heck is this bird seeing that from that height?
I don't know, but it's magical.
Thank you. So that's what I'm saying. Our limitation is that we can't see past a certain point now unless we start walking that way. Now, when you're moving towards that direction, it always seems like you can't get to the end of it. Why? Because it's always moving away from you.
It's also like the fact that we can only eyes that we have. It doesn't mean that that's all there is to see, you know? Like what you were just talking about, hawks can see different things. We can only see out of the eyes that we have. There's other things to see, but we can't see them because our eyes aren't like that.
Well, yeah, those are the human limitations.
I mean?
To take you a little bit deeper into it, see, it's all about the circumference of your eyes and then how your eyes are dualistic. And then now if there's floaters and all this other stuff in your system, then now that's going to cut down your ability of visibility of being able to see for a distance. Cataract stuff like this, other obstructions, you know, it cuts down on your limitation of being able to see further. You see? So then that's a limitation. That means that your orb eyes working together dualistically has a limitation. Weak points. And then that's where all the magicians, just to pull this in now, magicians know the sleight of hand idea because you as a human being, you may have blind spots right in the middle of your face and might not understand it. You have blind spots on your edges that you may not understand based upon your eye, your vision, cone of vision. Your eyes are round, so it emanates like, and takes in information like how your light bulbs do. So that's the longer version of what you was making mention to Sue-Ann, which is it's all just limitations of the human system, meaning that your eyes can only focus to a certain point at this point. If you don't keep yourself pure, meaning your diet is pure, you're staying away from things, you don't have a lot of mucus in your system, that cuts down on the amount of observation that you can do at longer distances. Because you got to think, before human beings had that situation with what you put in your mouth, before that point, there wasn't that many limitations. You hear stories of people seeing very far. You have the Dogon that could see, into the stratosphere to be able to understand these distant things that they're just figuring out now. This is all based upon observation. So, you know what I mean? The more, I would say, clean, or I would say alkaline you keep your body, the better that you'll be able to see and focus and take in information through your senses. The more clouded up you are, the more limitations that you're going to have, or those limitations are going to be more relevant and right there. So the number one is the sight thing, because even in enclosed environments, if you're looking a certain way, I can make you think that nothing's in my hand. And then you look another way, you'll see it. So this is all weak points of observation or the vision system of the human being. That's all. And then that's what we're dealing with when we're talking about line. Then line does what? Line and edge alludes towards what? Shape. Those shapes allude towards what? Space, form, girth, width, density, mass. You see what I'm saying? Intricacy, all that good stuff. Then you have the light. That light's coming this way. You see shadows. That tells you what the surface is doing. So you can't have light without surface. You can't have surface without light. You see? And then boom. Once you look at all that together, then you'll see. Think about it. When you go to the market, what do you do when you go buy a couch or something, or a chair? You feel it. You're looking at the edges. You're looking at the shape of it, the form of it. All these things have to be within a certain resonance for you as an individual, so that you'll be able to purchase it and say, that was the perfect purchase for my living room. It fits right in that area like how I knew it would. Yeah. That's you dealing with line, shape, form, light, and surface. Always. Think about it. You go to the market, would you buy certain vegetables, certain fruits if they didn't have a certain edge, a certain shine, a certain gleam, a certain surface? If the surface looks like a porcupine surface, but it's not supposed to be a porcupine, or like soursop, if your lemon looks like soursop, would you buy it?
Probably not.
I'm not even going to say probably. I'm going to say I'm not. I'm going to keep it real. If those edges don't look right on that apple and it looks like a soursop, somebody better be telling me it's some type of exotic apple, as they say to us a lot of times. And if it's not that case, then we're not buying that apple. I can't identify what that is, and I'm not going to take that chance, especially on the economics. I need that for the other apples that I know I can eat.
Right.
That's where I go with it, everybody. So call me frugal, call me all of that, call me cheap, call me all of that. But I'm using line, shape, form, light, and surface the way I'm supposed to, for where it is that I'm at in this little bit of thing called the third dimension.
Third dimension.
Yeah, third rock. Whether you believe it's flat or not, I'm still going to use the ideas that's there.
You had to bring that up.
Well, it was right there on the edge of the conversation, if you really think about it. So, hey, my thing is whether you, believe whatever you believe, we still have to deal with those things that I just talked about. Line, shape, or suggested about line, shape, form, light, and surface. Now, some people say, well, where is color? That's in light. Color is an energy, you know what I mean? Color is a spectrum, yes, but color is an energy, like a plasma.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can I show you my picture? Because I'm going to go to church.
Oh, I know the deal. Yes, we was
Hold
waiting
on,
for you to
stand
let
by,
us know.
stand by, stand by, stand by.
Roger Dodger.
Roger that.
Roger that.
Wow. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. You can unpin mine so we can see her.
Oh, I thought well, it's up.
Oh, okay.
It's up live. I'm looking at it on the live stream. Hold on, let me cancel.
I had done it in graphite. I just did it over in Sharpie today. Most of it. I didn't do a lot of the leaves, but
there you go. That's what we told. Now I can see her.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. You did your tree, just huge tree. Yeah, but it looks good. Looks good. Now the part where is those his ear? Oh no, I see his ears on top, and you have both of his eyes. Yeah, I see it. Just make those patches a little bit bigger. Make the patches around his eyes, the black part around his eyes a little bit bigger. And then we got it. I can see where his snout is, and you snuck that eye in there. That looks good. Play with the textures of the fur too as well. The dash lines for the fur. Try some dash lines like how you did for the tree, which looks good. I can tell the difference between the tree and the bear. Now you got to just put some fur marks on there. So make up a mark for the fur that you're seeing, so that then now we'll know that that's fur on the bear and that's tree bark, the differences between the two. And then fill your leaves in around your edge, and you're good. You're looking good. Now all that's going to happen is you're going to have to do a lot of erasing. After you fill it all in with marker, you're going to have to do a lot of erasing to get, the graphite out. But it still looks playful, Sue Ann. No problem. Still looks playful. Looks like he's about to now wake up and jump out the tree and say, let's play.
Yeah.
So have a good one, Sue Ann.
Thank you. Right. You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And don't forget, say the prayer for us and everybody in the world, man.
That we're all abundant.
I said, say your prayer for all of us in the world, especially some of these people out there, Russia and things like that, that has it a little bit rougher than us right now.
Thank you.
All righty. Later.
Bye-bye.
All right, Nadine. Yeah, now I just go back to being pinned and we're there now. Okay. Yeah. So you see that?
Yes.
I filled in with some of the leaves over here, right? But you know what I mean? I'm using the picture as creative license. So then now I'm leaving some of that, you know what I mean, open down there. So now when I come back and color in, I can color in there a certain color when I look at the color version of what we got. Because remember, everybody, we took the picture that Nadine gave us. Well, Nadine gave us both this time, so thanks, Nadine.
Yeah.
She gave us the black and white version and the color version.
Right.
So that you didn't have to worry about converting it on your own, everybody. You see? So what I would do is what I am doing is like those areas where we know there's other leaves behind there in the distance. I'm leaving it blank for right now.
Okay.
You see, so then now when you come back in and color in, it's up to you to what you want to put in there. Me, I'm gonna put like that hazy green look. You know what I mean? That pale hazy blue green look in there with a couple of movements like the bamboo to say what's back there to make it feel like it's in the distance. Remember, we're using watercolor, everybody, or some of you may be using your watercolor pencils. I don't know exactly. But the main thing is that we all using the Sharpies together. You can use your pencils. You can use the sketch and wash pencils. Remember, we did that a couple of times. And then we started doing that with the coloring in. So, don't worry, we're going to carry this on even for our Patreon people. Hi out to you guys out there. Shout out to everybody. But we're going to be doing that in there too as well. So, just look around, everybody, and we're talking about the supplies. Nadine has supplied us with certain things online that you can read and see that are very pertinent to what it is that we do. And keep going, everybody. But as far as the suggestion is concerned, I'm almost there. I just got to fill in a couple of more areas, everybody, with some leaf structures that I may like. Maybe do even some more of these dangling plants here that's looking like those spider plants that we use in the house, you know what I mean? Now I know why a lot of these places are so electrifying and mesmerizing. Because if you find out the plants, like most of the plants that we have in the house, that we say is good for, absorbing certain wavelengths and all that good stuff. Imagine what it does in its own natural environment.
Right.
That's what I say to people, because some people, we don't think about that. We go, oh man, I'm getting a fern for this. I'm getting this type of plant for that. But then, okay, if you really look at that and that's doing that in your small apartment or house or room or garage or glass house or wherever you have your plants at, if it's doing that in those environments, just imagine what some of these things were doing when it was in the Everglades.
Right.
When it was down in South America and these plants were just in their natural indigenous environment. It's, man, I don't know, man, you guys,
you're getting all excited.
Yeah, because I understand once you understand what's going on, you get excited all the time. A lot of times I'm fighting to calm myself down. That's why I don't drive anymore, everybody. I really ride my bike for that reason. My deductible went almost to 1,000, man.
Oh no.
Because I was getting into these small little fender benders because I'm looking around at things and I'm having epiphany moments because I'm looking at colors and I'm looking at how the light gets refracted through a cloud, and then it gets refracted through smog, and then it gets refracted through going through spaces, and then now it hits a surface and you see this color. And it's like trying to figure out how many refractions went down for me to be able to see that particular color on the wall.
Right.
Like it really does get that deep after a while, everybody. It's you don't stay at one point with your observations. I don't care who you are. When you start observation and we point out these things to you and you just take the chance and go out and look for it. You see what I mean? And then when you see it, it's going to lock you up because you're going to ask yourself so many questions. And it ain't going to be because, oh, you're going to think we're gurus over here or something. Nah, you're going to appreciate us even more for just pointing out these basic things that you can look for yourself in your environment around you so you can deepen your love of creativity, everybody. One major line that I got that I'm going to push some more is like, if you are a creation, you must create.
Yeah.
And nobody can argue that. I don't care what language you speak or anything like that. Nobody can argue the fact that they were or they are a creation. We all are a creation. We all know the process. We all know procreation without me going there and getting ourselves in jeopardy because, well, I use all the clinical terms, so we won't get in but so much trouble. But you know what I mean? We don't need to do that to you guys. We all adults and over 50, and even some of our people in our under 50, experience, they understand that if you over 21, heck, I had a conversation with a kid in adjudicated use. He was 11. And he was telling me stuff. I'm like, whoa, excuse me. So yeah, we understand that we are a creation. We came from a mother, combination of mother, father, and then now the mother. Now we know mom has the suit, dad has the animation. You know what I mean? Those two combine together, and we have to look at the camera and go, hello, eyes here. You know what I mean? And then we commemorate the thing we call birth date. You know what I mean? Abbreviation, birthday, B day, commonly known in certain urban environments as your born day. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, we got to give you all the signatures that, explain that idea. And then once you see it more and more, you understand, oh, if I'm a creation or if I'm created, then I must create. You have to. That means when you're cooking, you know what I mean? What we all cooking today? You cooking ribs, cooking chicken. Yeah, we over here are quasi vegans, you know what I mean? We know we have some real strict vegans in and around us. I know I can speak for myself. I'm like an ovo-lacto vegan. I still eat fish and chicken, you know what I mean? Some dairy, you know what I mean? I can't get away from the creamer. I can get away from sugar, but I can't get away from the sugar and the additives.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Think about it. The adding a spoonful of sugar to my coffee, I don't do that no more. Now my addiction is putting the creamer in the coffee.
Oh, okay.
You see, so in my mind, oh, all right, I'm using baking soda, cinnamon, things like this, right? So I'm saying I'm doing this electrolyte acid balance. Read into it, everybody. Have fun on Google with that one, but it's all in our environments too. If these plants are not a certain alkaline acidic base or balance, then it's not going to provide all that stuff that we love about plants taking certain vibrations and tones and things and bad things out of the air that we can't see. You know what I mean? So that's why you should hug a tree every day, once I found out that made me a tree hugger like around 9, 10.
Hug a tree.
Yeah, I just, once I found that out in science session, you know what I mean? Because remember, you would have from K through 8, you really pretty much had at that time one teacher, everybody. So they would explain the biosphere and all of that. And when I found out that, I said, oh man, I gotta hug a tree. I gotta save a dandelion.
Oh,
Help
yeah.
us breathe. You know what I mean? And I lost it, man. I was the type of kid that would dig a dandelion out of the crack in the concrete. Get it to grow real good, but then get mad when it died because I didn't know that it was an annual. You know what I mean? They don't stay long. It's not their job to stay long.
And I heard that they show up based upon what's in the soil.
Yeah, what's in the source? Because think about it. I seen a dandelion growing out of a red brick on a wall. So these are some, how would you say it again? What's that word again, Nadine?
Oh, I forgot.
For aggression of plant life.
Oh, I just said
I don't say it right. It sounds funny.
Well,
when
it
I
is
say
aggressive.
Right.
But oh my goodness. And it came out before.
It came out so natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before. I don't worry, it'll come back. We'll just say aggressive for now. You know what I mean? Because then that's why you eat dandelion leaves, because it's so much of a strong plant. It grows anywhere and everywhere. Yeah, certain leafies like that, man. Dandelions, what else? There's a couple of other ground covers that's like that.
Invasive.
Yeah, there you go. I knew I would get it to you sooner or later. You start naming ground covers and all that. So in the ground cover of family, then you got a lot of them that's evasive like that. Yeah, aggressive. Take over a whole area. Yeah. So you see everybody. See, I'm gonna leave most of that loose in here for me. So then when I come back and color in, that gives me room to do things with the color. Like in the tree park, I put a little bit of movement just to put a hint of the idea of movement. And in between this curve and this curve, your eye, for me, is making it look like a curve. You see? So, you got to look at that magic that you guys are doing too. You got to show us these striations, these edges, these internal descriptive edges. You see? And once you do that, they're descriptive about what the surface is doing, which is what the edges is doing on the surface, highs, lows, and then things like that. And then now you have, buoyancy, density, mass that you got to deal with. All these lines move your idea or your observations into believing that this is coming up and this is going down. You see? That's all you're doing. You're trying to make up marks to mimic the phenomenon that's in front of you the best you can, whether it be in picture form, or if he was right there with you, Nadine, I would be like, hey, pull your little book out, or if you had an easel, pull your easel out and look through your screen and then look at him up there and give us a drawing. You know, when I take people to the zoo and I do that, they go, well, what do you mean? We've been working from photographs. I said, no, it's the same thing. You know, box that, you know, you're looking at the gorilla sitting there, or you're looking at the snake sitting in the cage. Box them out the same way you would. All right, pull your phone out, take a shot. Look at the shot and then look at the snake, and then you'll get the idea of what you did. You bracket the scene around that particular item or animal. Same way you would do with a photograph. That's why we say to you when I'm in a brick and mortar location is think like a camera. Because the camera and the cinematographer or the motion picture, you know, all these machines and everything else is really nothing more than a glorified version of you. You know, think about it. Why do you look at TV? Yeah, why you look at TV? You know, you're just like the animal or the cat or the dog that thinks emotion is really going on. And then they'll chase something right to the edge of the TV. That's the same reason why you're watching TV. Because it's mimicking your emotion in your world. So it's exciting because that's the way you view the world. You know, and then, you know, every now and then I have to catch myself because I'll follow something right off the screen. Like, oh man, wait a minute. Ooh, almost got me. It's time to stop watching TV for a minute. Yeah, that's what I do to myself. So, you know, that's my suggestion for me in my world, everybody. Sometimes it's just on in the background, just for background noise, you know. Radio, the TV is just playing. Sometimes you play, you know, documentaries or videos and replay them numerous times. Yeah, some of my studio people on the other side and above me, they can't stand it sometimes. They'll knock on the door and say, please, man, can you change that? I'm like, oh, my bad. You know, because I'll play the same song over and over again for like, you know, 5 hours. Okay. Because it's providing a certain feeling. Okay. So I'll put it on repeat. You know, a certain movie, I'll have a movie going on repeat. Certain news may be playing, or certain documentaries from the news, you know, the Israel thing and is going on. So a lot of times I'll play that loud. So I had somebody knock on the door that was obviously Israeli or Palestinian. And when I came to the door, they looked up at me and they paused. So I know what that pause is. It's like, uh-oh, I don't want to make this guy upset. You know what I mean? So no, I didn't get upset. I said, oh, what, you know, how can I help you? Did you come to purchase from DonStephensArt? And then he looked at me and says, no, but could you, I don't mean to disturb you, but can you either turn it down or change it? Because you've been playing it for 4 hours. And I could tell it was agitating them. And I didn't go deep into it. I looked at him and I could tell he was one of the contingencies, but I couldn't tell if he was Israeli or he was Palestinian. It just looked like he was so stressed out. I was like, oh my God. I was like, all right, man, no problem. I'll change it. And I put, you know, Miles Davis on while he was standing there and his face kind of loosened up. And he said, I didn't expect that, but thanks. You know? I think I put on Bitches Brew. Yeah, that's what I put on Miles Davis, Bitches Brew. So it starts off weird, you know what I mean? And his eyes popped like this, and he looked at me, and I go, "You good?" He said, "I wasn't expecting that, but thanks." You know what I mean? Who's that playing? I said, Miles Davis. I've never heard that one. I said, it's Bitches Brew. You got to look a little deeper into him. Don't just look on the surface now for all his, you know, regular standard stuff. Right. You know what I mean? You got to look deeper past the orchestra stuff into now when he's soul searching. And then that's when you bump into Bitches Brew. You know, and you know, hopefully he brought it. I haven't heard from him again. You know, he doesn't come down that much, but you know, I guess from me playing it. So that's what I mean, Nadine, by how I will play things, man. You know, so gotcha. You know, so that's just to let you know, everybody. You know, you got to do things that's conducive to making you comfortable in your space. Because if you're not comfortable, then the piece is not going to be comfortable. Then what type of reaction is it going to have with your audience, everybody? Just think about that. If you're erratic, your piece is going to look erratic.
Okay.
You know, you can't, you really can't escape that. That's why your mind state has to be a certain way. If you're doing pieces for the marketplace, or you're doing something specific for a friend or a family member that you love, what's going to happen is the piece is going to be a little bit more intense because you're more focused on doing an excellent job at that point. Plus, your art is in the mix because your enjoyment of the person. So you want this in anticipation of this person seeing it. You're wanting your best to come forward. So naturally, in your mind, you're saying that your hand is going to follow what your mind wants. Your hand is not separate from all of that, everybody. A lot of us think it is. A lot of us think if you think one way, your hand is going to do something other. No, your hand only goes where your mind goes.
Wow.
If you don't try to expand where your mind goes, then your hands are limited. Which means that if you don't have a lot of experiences, your hands are limited. Yeah, if you really look at it. So that's why you have to have, that's why all the master artists that you love from time immemorial would do several different type of drawings or paintings before they got to their final. Because the more experiences you have, the more your hands have to go on. I hope everybody gets that big suggestion today. That's why I keep saying to everyone, more observation, everybody. Because the more you take in with your vision, that's one of your senses. You don't really need your ears to do the painting. Not unless you're like Nadine. She was in the environment, she took that picture. So then I would say to Nadine, hey, Nadine, what was the climate which you was feeling when you took that shot? Just to evoke that moment so she can have more to pull on to make this piece even more. You know what I mean?
Yep, it was wet.
Okay, you see?
Wet, rainy, and a little bit cold.
What was the smells like, Nadine?
It was normal. It was a normal kind of smell.
Well, for you, what would normal be? Like pine scent, or the freshness of an opening rainy day? You see how when it's a wet environment, like what was the freshness smell to you?
Yeah, it was just like wet plants.
Yeah.
The dampness, probably there was mold there. That kind of thing. Lot of
put it to you this
soil.
way. Put it to you this way. It didn't smell like a place in Fairmount Park where you would be if the pine cones opened up. You wouldn't have this pine smell that you smell.
No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't that pine smell. I just remember we were walking and going in and out, and it was wet, and we had jackets, and then there would be periods where it would clear up. But it seemed more like you were overwhelmed because there were areas you would walk and there would be bamboo all over the place. And
densely packed in.
And then you're walking through, and then you come into this area where you see the pandas. But and probably I would say there were I felt some of the smell of the wood from the not the patio, but the walkway.
Right.
Okay.
That's why I said that, because now you have more to go on. You see all the visuals you get from just the idea of the sense of smell. Now you're describing all the visuals that went with that smell. Gotcha. What was the sounds you was hearing? What made it different from an American, forest, wetland idea to where you was at in China? Was the sounds different? Did you hear different birds or different movements?
Yes. There were birds I did not recognize, yes.
But all of that, you see what I'm saying? All of that, it evoked when you took that picture, which then now your hands have more to put into the piece.
Right.
Why? Because now that little thing that we went through we evoke certain things based upon your other senses. We didn't even go into when you touch the tree bark.
Right.
Because if we go into that, now that's going to force you to have to think back to when your hand went there and what did it look and feel like. Because now you got to put look with the feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're going to have even more to go on. You see what I mean? Because that may make you make the marks in your tree bark differently.
Right.
So these are the things that I like to talk about when I'm suggesting to people, coaching, whatever we want to call it, is like you using the best thing about the human being is how we get to capitalize on our senses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you call mind, that can be a battle. You know what I mean? You can go back and forth. But what I'm saying is all of us have senses.
Mm-hmm.
And we use those faculties to be able to do these things. We use these two globes here. Sometimes it's the smell. Think about it. If my vision is impaired or I'm blind, that means this window of opportunity is shut down. Now I have to use my ears like their sight, my smell, my taste. You may even, some people I know, especially when I was in the military, I knew a guy that hunt a lot. He can taste the air. Like really like smell and taste the air. And then he knew where things were. Honestly, it bugged me out. You know what I mean? But we have these faculties that if you take the chance to use them, it builds upon your experience for you to be able to utilize them even more. Yeah. See, that's the thing that we have over computers right now.
Right.
And even AI, it knows what an emotion is, but it can't feel an emotion. That's why AI doesn't understand emotion still.
And can it smell? It can recognize.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It can recognize all the things that we take advantage of, but it can't really experience that. That's why if you see some of the AI footage, when you're talking back and forth with the AI has a hard time with feelings and emotions because it doesn't really absorb data the way that we absorb data.
Well, hopefully that stays that way.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
I know that would be utopian and then that would be foolish on my behalf. I'm not going to put you in that, Nadine. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say with me, yeah, it may not be, it may be after 2050 we may see that. I don't know. But if you look at the movements on what they're doing, like, okay, you got robots that can cook now. They done understood how to put data together enough. How much data goes into you to control your hand to crack an egg? The robot can do that now. Make an omelet, make it easy over, can fry the eggs right. It takes a lot of data and information that you're not paying attention to that makes your hand move and all of that. So now they can do that with the computer, right? Efficiently, right? The next step is for it to do smelling and things like how we do. It has to go through each one to be able to, and that's a lot of data that each one of your cells and your unit takes in, your brain housing group. And each one of your cells, the 72 trillion cells work together as a cell membrane.
Yeah.
So it's like understanding how, I mean, that's why they've been saying a new catchphrase is the brain barrier.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, see, they've been using that since what, mid 2000s now, because we're understanding more about nutrition. We're understanding more how the body and the senses work together to take in data. You know, all the information that's in your head is liquid. A lot of people don't understand that because we don't slow down enough to just think about that idea. What are your thoughts? Your thoughts are liquid. Every last one of them are liquid, and then it's channeled, you know, by a thought of light. And then boom, your thought will come to you from a certain section on where certain things are housed, certain chemicals are housed. Because now they know that, you know, your thoughts are chemical signatures, which can be translated like a binary, ones and O's. That's why I have a painting series called The Binary Code, New Breed. It's on one of them is on display at Chain.
Okay. Nice.
earlier on. Yeah. But it's like, I call it new breed. Why? Because we have to be able to, like in that, the movie with Roddy Piper in it,
No, it's not coming
with the
to me.
glasses.
Um,
It's like you start to see things, like they put the glasses on and they look at an advertising that says, buy here, buy only this. And, I forget the name of it. It's not called It. It is the other movie. That's the scary movie with the clowns, by Steven Spielberg that everybody
Right.
likes. But this one is with Roddy Piper. And it's about, the future idea of an alien nation taking over our population. And then now he has these glasses that, he puts on. And then when he puts the glasses on, it tells him the real story about what's going on around you. He looks at the advertisement without the glasses. You see the newspaper, the daily news. He puts the glasses on, and then the daily news is gone, and it's saying, buy me.
Mm. Subliminal messaging.
Yeah, so that whole movie was about that. If you put in Roddy Piper movies, it should come up. And when it comes up, you're gonna go, oh yeah, everybody's seen it or heard of the movie. I never really get the name of the movie right. I want to call it It, but it is not the name of the movie because that's the Steven Spielberg movie with the clown in it, the little demonic clown in it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You see. So yeah, we bring up these type of things so we can have conversation about most of the stuff that fills in the blanks. And once again, excuse us for talking art, but all of it's one. Now, once again, I have to put my disclaimer in because Nadine may not have that in mind, and our platform is not based upon that, but my thought is that. So I can only say it from that standpoint. Okay. And just keep observing, keep creating. If you look on the videos, you'll start to see more and more why I say keep creating and why you have to, else you'll go crazy. I really, that's why I'm in certain environments, because I think that's what's driving certain humans to lunacy, because they don't have a chance to really understand how to express.
Right.
And honestly, I've done things in certain places where it actually helped adjudicated news. It helped certain elders with understanding their task as time is going along, so they don't feel as if they're in the way. All this stuff, and you say, no, you have a purpose, and then you have to seize that purpose and still keep creating. That's it. And then
Gotta keep creating.
Yeah, what's the creation for the elder is to put together everything that you've been through to present to the younger cusp to understand where they need to go. I'm starting to see it more being 55. I got guys that's in their 30s asking certain things, you know what I mean? And I respond honestly, truly from the heart chakra. Yep, from the heart, green with envy, you know what I mean? From the heart. To get to the crown chakra, that blissful point.
Yeah.
So I mean, it depends upon if you look at it. If you pray, then you're looking at, you know what I mean, the Holy Ghost idea. You know what I mean?
Oh, but then what's the crown anyway? You think about Jesus Christ, his crown, the crown of thorns.
Yeah.
The heart is always mentioned in Christianity. So the heart, the spirit.
It's the starting point. Yeah. The heart goes through and then it goes to the crown chakra, to the spirit idea. So
yeah. Now, pulling away from spirituality and a connectedness, I went onto a website, Roddy Piper Movies. Let's see.
It lives, or it's alive, something like that. They live. That one. That's the one. That's the one.
All right. So
that's the one. You want to have some fun.
They live.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that we were able to
Thanks, Nadine.
Get you in that direction. Yeah, get you in that direction.
because it's a good movie and it explains what we're talking about, but it's just the play on senses, vision, you know, observation is key. Yeah, and then that movie goes into it. You know, is the glasses lying or your eyes lying, basically, when you watch that? You know, what's the real truth of the matter? You know, is there a hidden language or agenda in advertising and everything in our world? And is it these other beings that's taking, you know, that's what the whole concept of the movie is. So, you know. And then we know that the writers in movies are just like how we are. They're painters, but they're just using words to explain and describe the scene the way that they're reorganized, like how we would take creative license with shapes. So the writers, you know what I mean, are the ones that are the painters.
Right.
And what you find out with writers, they do a lot of research and they use the research to do the screen adaptation of whatever it is that they're writing for. So, and that's another thing you find in art school, everybody. See, everybody thinks art school is just painting, drawing, sculpting. No, it's advertising, cinematography, engineering, package design, all this other stuff that you guys you don't pay attention to is all part of when you go to art school, whether it's in high school or college or community college or certificate program. This is what's being discussed. How do we make this connect with society?
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's always going to be, you know what I mean? So, you know, look around you, everybody. How could you use these shapes? What shapes you going to make? And then how would you say, make us believe those shapes on a two-dimensional plane? How much of an investigation or an experience are you going to have with your photographs or environments, like how we did with Nadine, to be able to discuss what your hand is going to be able to relay to us, your audience? And I say, I'm done. We're done at that point for today. Next week will be all about the coloring in.
Now, next week, I'm not going to be here.
Right. So we got 2 weeks then.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, because we're going to do I believe, a replay of something else on Sunday. Yeah.
Yes. We're going to do a replay. So you'll be able to check that out, everyone, if you didn't know. I thought I was, I got my days mixed up, but yeah, next Sunday I will be in Switzerland. But I will be returning soon after that. So we're going to do a replay and then we're going to come back to this. If Don can hold off.
Oh, I'll hold off. I'll hold off. You know, like how I did with this one, I held off, but I'll hold off. That's no problem.
And the thing is I've got to remember to go ahead and print this before we do the third session. Because the third session, we should be somewhat moving close to putting color to it. So here's
yeah, we're definitely, there you go. There you go. I mean, whatever you don't put in line, you're going to have to put in color.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
That's all that says. So if you don't want to be very descriptive with your leaf structure, that's okay. When we start coloring in, you still got to deal with that.
And then up on the top.
That's what I mean. Up on the top in there, on the sides a little bit. There's going to be some leaf structures you're going to have to make anyway when you start coloring in. Not unless you're going to say you're reinventing and taking creative license just to make that upper sky then.
Right.
You see, and those are things we talk about too. Like, all right, I don't want to do all those leaves in there, Don. What else can I do? Well, make it upper sky. Make it seem like, this tree is in the middle of somewhere and there's no, I would say enclosed environment. So that can be all blue sky back there.
Right. Yeah, I think I do want to put some leaves up in there though.
Yeah, you can put one or two and then you can put that hazy looking green that you see from being in an enclosed environment. It's not really a blue. It's like a hazy, limeish, greenish, bluish color in the background when you look at the color. And then those are the colors that you would use to portray what background is. See, a lot of people don't look at those tidbits. They'll try to make up a background color to put there. No. What is the source material telling you about the vibrance of the color in that environment? Because whatever vibrance that area is in if you use the same vibrance in your piece, it's going to make that same movement. That's how I beat people up. That's how I get individuals to see. That's another little secret, you know, that you won't get if you don't watch the video. You know what I mean? So the whole thing is that, yeah, I may not use the leaves or the forms and structures and edges, but I may use the light and the light value system of that area. You see? So now you understand how abstract artists possibly work. I can take an area and not really use the leaf structure. I can just use the colors that's there as an abstract piece. And if you look at existentialism and subjective work, you'll see this is what a lot of artists was doing. You know, just look at de Kooning and his Marilyn Monroe series. It's not that he couldn't paint. He was trying to get a certain expression. He was trying to show doom and despair and ugliness. Boom. Yeah, ugliness, turmoil. That's what he was trying to show in those pieces with Marilyn Monroe, without showing the beauty of Marilyn Monroe. He was trying to show the ugly that nobody wants to look at, which is still beautiful. That's what he was saying in those pieces. So then think about how many different ways you can make and utilize materials, everybody, or a site, or a thing, or a person, or space, or place, so on and so forth, everybody. So yeah, so you see in my version of how I dealt with this photograph, you know, as a suggestion. You saw Nadine's version. You see, what's your version, everybody? And then what I will say, though, everybody, is even more so, try not to color it at first. You want to take a shot of it, like how we have it on the, like I have it on the screen right now, black and white. You want to take a shot of your piece like that with no tonality, just all the line work. So then this way you can take advantage of having it on your computer, finally, some of you.
And go back to it.
Yeah, now with Nadine, what I would say to you is trying to figure out that Inkscape program and how you would take this image and make it a vector in Inkscape for yourself, so that now when you go to print it out again, it'll just be black and white, so then you can fill it in with whatever you want at that point, you see.
And that's actually for everyone too else.
Yeah, that's why I made mention to it. I said everybody at first, and then I made it specific for you, because I know you ask about that a lot. Like the t-shirt that you got on, that's how I got the image there. I did a pen and ink drawing of it, scanned it into the computer. Once you scan it in, it becomes a JPEG. Now you take it and you take it in any program. I already let out what program I was using. I'm not going to say it again. So you just have to use a photo manipulation program or a design program, everybody. Make it black and white, and then make it a vector image, or how would you say, trace map your image. And then that'll make it a linear line equation. And then now you have a pure black and white drawing that you can always print out to start another one if you wanted to. You can, depending upon the paper or the surface that you apply it to, you can use crayons, watercolors, oils, acrylics, you name it. All right. So, yep, that's another giveaway, everybody. But now you're going to have to start watching the video to be able to get some of that juicy stuff.
For sure, for sure.
Yep. And there you go, 12 o'clock. Done deal.
Done deal, everybody.
Yeah. And I'm ready for the coloring in when we come back and coloring. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, everybody.
Lastly, I'm sorry, Nadine. Lastly, the most I would do is just add some more leaves, everybody, leaf structures in certain places. That's all I'm going to do. And play with my tree bark on the right side here, this part here.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking pictures of it. So you'll see it later on today online, everybody.
Nice.
All right. Take us away, Nadine.
All right, it's time to go on that magical journey where we end this session and take on the world. We want you to remember how important it is to keep creating. Because if you are created, you must create. Okay? I think that's if you are a creation,
There you go.
must create. And when you're going out and by your day, doing your thing, whatever it is you do, think like a camera. Yep. That was another wonderful little tidbit. Okay. And watch how you move your hands. Watch how you move your hands. It'll be really interesting how you move them, use them, all that kind of good stuff, because it's connected to your brain, your thoughts. Absolutely. So thank you very much. We thank you for joining us. We thank all of our members and our Facebook group. We're thankful for our members and our Patreon group. Definitely stay hydrated because your thoughts are liquid. So you got to keep your brain liquefied.
Think about it. 72 trillion cells you got that you got to talk to. Mine's are all homeboys. You can say yours is all homegirls.
Homegirls. And I don't know where it was, but and I know other people do it. We do it, in African culture or whatever. That water that you're taking into your body, speaking to the water for what it's going to do for you. It's powerful.
Yeah, put it in a jar, sit it on the table, and speak to it. I love you.
I love you. Make
You're gonna
those
be
molecules
the best nutrients
change
to me. You're gonna make my body so saturated I ain't gonna know what to do with myself. I love you, water. And watch what happens.
Flush out any parasite that might be trying to infiltrate this body.
Put all the thoughts in that water and you watch. Now, if anybody's looking at us like we're crazy right now, just do the search. I forget the name of the Japanese gentleman that did the research on it. But if you put in research and say, I guess, speaking to water, information in water, emotions in water, or projects, or just put in projects based upon water and information, and you see this doctor will come up. He's Japanese, that proved the science on if you speak well or speak negative. He spoke negative to the glass of water, and he had all types of ugly paintings. All types of ugly pictures to take.
Yep.
Then he spoke beautiful, loving words to the water, and it had this beautiful crystalline patterns to it. Beautiful stuff. Yep. Check it out, everybody. Not to like
Doctor.
Go for it, Nadine.
Dr. Masaru Emoto.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Looking. Yeah. Speaking to water. Yes, yes. He realized that it was in frozen crystal form that water showed us its true nature. This was from High Camp Supply, believe it or not, some website.com, and they had an article on it, and it talked about him. And individual and collective consciousness. So those two things are really important. Now we're talking water, we're talking consciousness. And
consciousness would be the air vibrations at that point.
Right. And then moving forward. Now you think about that. And then what Don talked about earlier, and I know we're going to be skedaddling, but when you create art for, say, like a family member or a friend, the way in which you're moving your hands and your thoughts as you're making the mark appear or are received, I think, with more energy behind it. Because your intent as you're creating that piece of work,
and your connection to the individual,
and the connection to the
connection to the thing. That's why I tell people, draw your animal and watch how that drawing is going to be the most intense drawing that you did, or that family member that you love, or your husband or your wife or your partner, whomever that person is that you truly, or thing that you love. Once you do it, it's going to look totally different than any other drawing because of your personal heart connection to that item.
Absolutely. And that's and that was the reason why we were talking art, and we brought the water to the spiritual, to the connection with those that we care about. So thank you very much. Thank you. We thank you. Be safe this week. I'll see you on the other side, Lord willing. All will go well.
It
Have
will.
have a great week and keep
Keep
creating,
creating.
everybody. Keep
Yeah.
creating. Yeah. Thank you so much. Take care and have a great